Your Honor, them indict we for standing up against the harmful stereotypes that have been perpetrated against the men. I come here to represent myself and a few. We living in a century where we living on lies. Society said the hurls and we have to comply. We gonna pay with dues, we don't get reviews. Not for we get broken and we fall into the news. But it's all the brothers said we gonna take a stand. Representing hope, revealing the brand. We gonna take a brother hand in hand. Empower, elevate every boy, every man. Learn me. I just want to reveal my light slowly. Look close, you gonna see a better man. Learn me. I just want to reveal my light slowly. Look close, my friend. I have arrived. I have take the message to the border. This is how we do it, cause we talk the truth to power. Walking in the spirit, walking in the water. Happy that we bled. Full 100, walking in forgiveness. Full 100, healing from disease. Full 100, totally redeemed. Full 100, strength to the youth. Full 100, friendly with the truth. Full 100, free from oppression. Full 100, always on a mission. Full 100.
I'm glad you know my name. You set my heart ablaze. You set my feet on a solid rock to stay. I'm glad I made this choice. You've given me a voice, and now I can rejoice.
They call me Mr. Diligent. When me ways are please the Lord, I'm dining with the president. Thankful for the warriors who praise me through the testament. Praise me through the testament. Praise me through the testament. Everything we put we have to doing it full 100. Time to praise the Lord, we say we praising him full 100. Working in the ministry, we working it full 100. Working it full 100. Working it full 100. Everything we put we have to doing it full 100. Time to praise the Lord, we say we praising him full 100. Working in the ministry, we working it full 100. Working it full 100. Working it full 100.
Lord, I'm glad you know my name. You set my heart ablaze. You set my feet on a solid rock to stay. I'm glad I made this choice. You've given me a voice, and now I can rejoice.
Well. Good evening to everyone. Hi, how are you all doing? Nice having you all here and on the mic at night. You know, we're always happy to have you. So, we're going to talk this evening about whether people are ready for relationships or not. But before we do that, let me acknowledge the people that we have on the program this evening. I always appreciate having you all. So, Kenneth Hodge, nice for you to join us as usual. Lawrence Flamand, you're early tonight, boy. Hey, Miss, good to have you. Edwin Tulsi, Timothy Benjamin, you said you're in class, ready to learn. Alright, well, we have things lined up for you, my boy. My dear sweet sister, Deanne Robinson. Right, nice having you. Yeah, you're gonna fill the room tonight. Rock and come in, all your people. Rock and come in. Glenda Allen, good evening to you. Hey, my good friend Wayne Hackett, thank you very much. Nice. Good having you all. So we have people from different parts. We have the USA in the house. We have some people from the Caribbean in the house, different Caribbean islands. Nice, man. Nice. Alright. So let's see how we're going to deal with this thing tonight. You know, a lot of people get into relationships, and for one reason or the other, it don't work out. I really think that there are some people shouldn't fight up with relationships. Yeah, I really feel so. I feel they should leave relationships alone, because not all the time it works for them. Not all the time it works in their interest. So I think they should just left that alone. Yeah. Why do I say that? I say that because some people are not ready. They ain't ready yet for relationship. In fact, they mess up other people's lives by getting into relationships, and they should just stay out. This is my personal view. Now, you may think otherwise, and that is alright, but hey, I think I'm entitled to my own views also. So, we're going to talk about that tonight, about this, whether people are ready. Because some people can get into relationship, but not at this time. They ain't ready yet at this time. So I want to bring some information that would help us to be able to work that out and work it out to our own cognitive audit, to tell ourselves, hey, listen, you may be one of those that shouldn't really fight up yourself, or that you make some adjustments before you get into relationship. Okay, so let's start off by saying that most people think they are ready because of certain conditions. One condition is they feel lonely, and they say, I think I'm ready for a relationship. You ain't ready yet. Because if you feel lonely and you want a relationship, you will expect that person to get rid of your loneliness, and then you may become a bit clingy. And if they are not around you to keep your company and to cheer you up and to perform for you, you may very well reject that person and move on to somebody else, because they don't have time with you. They don't get rid of that lonely thing. You can't go out as often, though the person might be working hard as ever, but it doesn't matter to you, right? So that loneliness is not a good reason. Second thing that some people figure that they might be ready when they're not, is they are attracted to somebody, and because they feel, I love this guy. This guy, every time this guy around me, I just feel goosebumps. Every time I see this girl, I just feel I have to fall down. Probably you should. But anyway, we ain't going there. But that whole thing about attraction, and because you feel attracted, yes, I'm ready to settle down. You ain't ready yet. Because that whole attraction business is not something that is unique to this person. In the next couple of years, somebody else you will be attracted to, as often happens. So that can't be it either. And some people say they want companionship because they need somebody to talk to when they get home. They have nobody in the house dark, they have to put on their own lights. They don't have somebody to ask to bring them this or bring them that. So they want a companion, somebody just to talk to and so on. You ain't ready yet either. So, and also, some people figure that they're tired of just being single. I think I'm single long enough. I'm getting old, and I want somebody to take care of me. Fellas, all you know how that sound? I want somebody to take care of me. So what you're looking for is a geriatric caregiver. And some women realize I'm getting old, so I'm passing my age of making children. I'm passing my age, and sooner or later, man wouldn't be looking at me, they'll be looking at younger girls. Not good reason either. Alright? So I'm telling all the reasons. Because readiness is not about desires. And all of these here are the things that you desire. And you can't use that to determine that you're ready. So we're going to look at some definitions, and we're going to ask ourselves, could we now see from a different angle what readiness means? So relationship readiness is equal to emotional capacity. That is, emotionally, I can handle issues in this relationship. I could handle the good times, the bad times. I can manage my emotions. I can have expectations, and I can temper my expectations. So that emotional capacity, and you add on to that emotional capacity the psychological stability. You're not one who does flip the lid, who does go off the edge, who when you're vexed does do and behave anyhow. Psychologically you are stable. You're in your right mind. There are some people that when they get vexed all hell break loose. They break things, they embarrass you in public, and they don't care because they're vexed. But the person who is ready, psychologically, they are stable. Even if you have done something that may be unpleasant to them, that person is capable of maintaining their cool. Now that takes power. So you have emotional capacity and you have the psychological stability, and you add on to that a moral alignment. They have boundaries, what they will do and what they will not do. You understand? So the person that you saw that you were attracted to, do they have a moral alignment and the moral limits that they will go to? Or are they open for any and everything? Yeah? You want a one-on-one relationship, you want to marry somebody and it's a man-woman, and this person is quite open to having man, woman, anything else included in it. Well, are you really ready for somebody who wants to settle down with a man-woman? So that moral alignment has to be on point. And then you add on to that, finally, a relational skills. You know how to get along with people. Big red flag. There are some people cannot get along with people. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to be able to have manners around people. They don't have situational awareness. They can't read the room. That's how some people are. And they cannot fit in. They cannot relate, and they cannot keep relationships. And some of them actually boast. I don't care. I don't want friends. I don't like friends. I could live by myself. They actually admitting that. And where you going with that person? That person already here. Because one of the things that is going to help us in life is ability to forge strong, stable, good, wholesome relationships. And once somebody tell you that they don't care about people and what they don't care what people say and what people think and so on, I will have a serious problem with that. I personally do. Because you must be able to know that you want to care how you come across to people. And that's why some of those same people are never in stable relationship. Ah, yes, I'm going to see that person put up their hand. Yes, I have that same mentality and I in a good relationship. All right, nicely. All right, so if it makes you sleep at night, rock your boat. Okay, so there you go. Let me just pause here and see what's happening with some of y'all. Petal Nicholas, thank you. Good evening. Pamela Martin, pleasant good evening. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're coming class late, Pamela. Late. Alright, but you're not always late. Alright. Jennifer, good evening to you. Sherry and Jerry. Hey, what's up? Nice having you on board, man. Joan Benjamin, welcome. All rock and coming. Class in session. We're really helping people. I am hoping that you all are getting some value out of this. You may not agree with me on some of my points, and that is okay. But I want you to recognize that not agreeing with me does not extinguish the validity of the points that I'm bringing. Good evening, Candice. Candice, you are late for class. Where have you been all the time? You are 20 minutes late. Alright? Sit down. Class in session. We go on. Alright, so here's what it is. Psychologically, you must be ready. And to be psychologically ready, I want us to look at what some of the persons who have researched such thing call a secure attachment capacity. All of us develop an attachment style from early childhood when we get into connection with our caregivers. If as a child we felt that whenever we had needs, those needs were being met, we tend to develop a secure attachment style. I am okay that I was able to come through without having that lack. You understand? So I'm secure in myself. I have also learned how to be able to perform and take care of myself in growing up, etc. So that secure attachment style is very, very critical. A lot of people do not have that. I'm going to come to that in more details a bit later on. And then you have the emotional regulation ability, psychologically. What we spoke about, you could regulate your emotion. Your mouth does not rule you. Your emotion and your feelings don't take charge, and just because you feel this way, you have to behave that way. The ability to handle conflict without escalating it. You don't have to throw things. You don't have to let the neighbors know. You don't have to carry on. And if you don't have that, you are not ready for a relationship. That I want to respectfully submit. Consistency between your words and your behavior. Your words must not say one thing and your behavior saying the next. I love you, but I'm hitting you. You are my number one, but you have no time for me. The words and the behavior must line up. Okay? And that must be consistency between both of those. So psychologically, you have to be ready. Can you handle a relationship? Can you handle somebody who does not agree with you? I watched a video. They were interviewing some girls and they were asking, who would you rather select? You all follow me now? Who would you rather go with in a relationship? A married man who tells you yes for everything you ask for or everything you want, or a man of your own who 45% of the time will not give you what you want, but the rest of the things he'll give you, but 45%. I don't know how many of you saw that interview. You all know what was the overwhelming decision that those girls made? They will rather go with a married man who will give them everything that they ask for or want. He would never say no. It is always yes. Some of them said, because I can't handle no. I don't like to hear no. That's what they said. So they only want to hear yes. And they refused the man who would be their own man, who would tell them 45% of the times he will say, no, I can't do that. I'm not able to. You think they're ready? If you think they're ready, sir, you go ahead and marry one of them and you will see. You will see. Yeah? And you check all of those girls' lives. You will never find somebody who will always give you what you want. That person has not been made. That person does not exist. That person, they don't have enough fuel to keep them around for long. That is one of those spent shells. You'll never find a man that will be able to say yes every time, even though he tries. He can promise you that, but he will never be able to deliver. But clearly, I would love to see the relationship status of many of those girls after. Okay. Now, if you want to interact with me, feel free to post your comments. I love to read your comments. I love to get your feedback. Keisha Harry, good evening. Rose Petal, good evening. Rose Petal, I don't know what they say about. Alright. Did I say hello to Candice? I can't remember. Candice, oh, she was one of those who walk in the class late. Yeah, I just remember. Alright, so let's go back to the session now. So psychologically, you have to be ready. And from a behavioral standpoint, you have to be ready. So, you can't say you're ready and you don't have the ability to commit exclusively to somebody. That is still playing the field, sir. They're still playing the field, ma'am. that you don't have that ability or capacity to commit exclusively. You also don't have any active rotation of emotional entanglements. You can't be wrapped up in that. That behavior also goes along with you're not transparent. If you're not transparent, you can't be ready. And if you're not accountable, you can't be ready. So transparency and accountability and ability to commit and in a relationship are 3 priority knobs, boxes that must be ticked. Transparency, they can see what you say, because what you say is what you mean. They can understand your position on matters, because you don't cloud it in innuendos and obscurities. You are plain talker, you are transparent, and you can be able to speak in a way that you can be able to stand by your word. You are accountable, because if you're wrong, you will admit that you're wrong. If you figure you don't agree with something, you'll also say you don't agree. You will not say you agree and you don't agree and try to hide it. You understand? So that behavioral readiness along with the psychological readiness is important. But they must also have a spiritual readiness. And this is more than just religion. This is your values. There must be some values that you stand by. Everybody have their own value system. But you must have clear values. They must not also be vague and shady values. You must have integrity. What you see is what you get. You must have discipline. Discipline that you put boundaries on yourself. You bring your body under control. You bring your life under control. And also you must have a covenant mindset, not a consumer mindset. Covenant mindset is that when you get into an agreement, you can hold your side of the agreement, even if the other person doesn't keep theirs. That's what covenant is. Contract is once the other person breaks theirs, then it breaks both of us own. But covenant is that once you get into an agreement, it is not predicated, so because he treated me bad or she treated me bad, I will treat them bad too. Because he horned me, I will horn him back. No, that's covenant. That's contract. Covenant is, you treat me bad, I will continue to treat you well. You went and you disgraced me, I am not going to give you a tit for tat. That's covenant. And I feel that when people get into a relationship, they have to stop this I will show them behavior. Alright? So, I have a question for all of you people out there. When you're looking for a relationship, are you seeking connection or are you seeking distraction? Are you seeking connection or are you seeking distraction? Connection is you're looking to get into a relationship to be able to feel the person, to feel intimacy, and to be able to understand the person. The person is pivotal. Distraction is this last relationship ended and they start back a new one, so I don't want to look as though I can't find a man or I can't find a woman, so I go with a relationship to distract me from you or to overcome my loneliness after you have left. That's distraction. But connection is, I really want to give myself and my attention to this person. Alright, so just put in the chat if you mind, which one do you prefer, connection or distraction? Connection or distraction? You're lonely and you can't handle all of this loneliness, so you want a partner that is to distract you from your loneliness. Alright. Carla May. Hey Carla, how are you doing? My goodness, I haven't seen or heard from you for a long time. Nice having you on board. St. Vincent in the house, man. Wonderful. Let me hear what my boy Lawrence saying. I have to drink this one here for Lawrence. Mike, the conditions you laid out for serious relationship between man and woman is a tall order for 8 out of 10 people. The journey ahead is what we call uncharted territories that most are not equipped to handle. Sincerity and purpose is the main ingredient. Sincerity and purpose is the main ingredient in fostering a solid relationship. Boy. It's a hard one, but it's a necessary ride. And that sincerity is transparency. Purpose happens to be that we both on the same direction. We might be riding the same horse, but which side are you facing? Pamela says she wants connection. Thank you very much, Pamela. I think connection is a good thing to have. Question: why a guy or lady run from a good healthy relationship, run towards a toxic relationship? Alright, Rose. Rose has an important question here. Why is it a guy or a woman would run from a healthy relationship and run towards a toxic relationship? I'll tell you. There are some people who have become so accustomed to chaos that when they meet calm, stability, order, they become very uncomfortable because they grew up all their life with chaos. So their natural state, their natural ethos is a chaotic ethos. One, they must have quarrel. There are some people, they have been quarreling in their family, growing up as brothers and sisters, quarreling with their uncles, aunts, and so on. That's all they know. So to get into a relationship with somebody who's not going to express themselves with such fervor, such energy, loudness, and insult is unnatural to some people. And I'm telling you, this is real. So they may leave a good, healthy relationship and turn towards a toxic relationship because they find comfort, commonality, naturalness right there. And they will walk out of that relationship and walk straight back in again. Toxic as it is. People tell you that. So that's one reason. That's what it is. And secondly, that attachment style that we spoke about, Rose, there's an anxious attachment style where people get they get concerned in the relationship, and sometimes they fear the intimacy that they're getting attached to. It makes them uncomfortable and they reject it. But we're going to come to that a bit later on in this same topic. I'm hoping that I would get a chance to cover it. Keisha said she wants connection. Alright. Nice. But as I said, we're going to come down some more to that. So, let's deal, as Rose has asked about that. Or is it Petal? Yeah, Petal, Rose Petal. Let's deal one time with that attachment style issue. Why some people are not ready because of their attachment style. So this attachment style theory was developed by a guy, John Bowlby, and it was more or less worked on and expanded by Mary Ainsworth. There are 4 attachment styles that is said that we come through. All of us would be in one of those. And if you are interested in knowing your attachment style, there's a program that I run that helps people to find their attachment styles. You call my number 868-480-0080, or you can set an appointment on my website. The website address is online. Right on top of there, www.michaelatstewart.com. So you could set an appointment. You could pay online, or you can, if you're local, you could pay, or we could send you a link for you to pay. And we're going to do the test for you to know which attachment styles that you have, that you show up with. Don't assume yours, because you can't assume it. Because how you see yourself is not necessarily how other people see you. So there are 4 attachment styles. So one of them is the secure attachment style, which is the most stable attachment style. This is where the person is comfortable with intimacy, because as a child they grew up, they knew what love and affection was. They knew what it was like to be able to have a loving family. So love and affection and closeness is not strange to such a person. They also can self-soothe. They are unhappy, uncomfortable, something has gone wrong, they can pull themselves out of it. They can deal with it. They don't go berserk, because they know how to manage their thing. They have been taught that from a child. This is not the child that who falls down every time the parent goes and pick them up. They can't get up for themselves. This is the child who falls down and is hurting, and the parent says, you could get back up, you could get back up, man. Oh yes, you got back up, wonderful. The child learns to solve problems. The child learns to soothe themselves. The child learns to be able to deal with their own issues. This is not the child that is enabled to be invalid by, they don't have, I have met boys in some of the sessions that I'm doing, 17 and 18 years old, who would tell me they never spread their bed yet. Mommy does go and spread their bed. You have a problem. That's not a secure attachment style at all. You have somebody who's waiting to marry somebody who is going to be a burden. So this secure attachment style has competency, has confidence, right? So they can communicate their needs. This is the child that grew up in a home that they can say how they feel and it be addressed. This is the child that has a voice. They can communicate their needs. I feel unhappy. I would like so and so. They can say what they have. But there are some people just hold their feelings in. They cannot communicate their needs. And they go into passive aggressive, or they go into the avoidance. They don't say what's bothering them. And the person they are with has to guess what they are going through. Or ask, you okay? Yes, I'm okay. But because they're not saying. So you live with this tension. But the secure attachment person freely can say exactly how they feel. They don't have a problem with that. They also have what we call a stable emotional base. It does not shift for everything that goes wrong. There are some people every day they get angry. How do you get angry every day? Life can't be so bad. So these individuals who are secure are usually relationship ready. But don't diagnose yourself. Do the test. Right? Call me, message me, my telephone number up there. So you have now, Rose, the anxious attachment style. This is the person who fears abandonment. Probably because they saw, sometimes it comes when a father and mother separate, and the child, nobody took cognizance of how that affected the child when mommy and daddy separate and they live in two separate places. And they fear, if I get close to somebody, look how I was close to daddy, and now daddy is gone, the pain they feel, they don't want to get close to anybody emotionally at all. So they have locked off their ability to connect to somebody. They fear abandonment. You hear? Or they were in somebody they were close to, and the person died when they were young, and they felt this loss, but nobody helped the person through it. All of that. So you'll find that if you have somebody who has this anxious attachment and they fear abandonment, they always want to check up on you. They text you every minute. How come you didn't call me? But we just spoke 2 hours ago. They want to talk again. They over calling, over connecting, to be able to make sure that you're always there. And if you didn't call them for a day or 2 days, they ask, well, is something wrong? Did I say something that bothered you? Are we still friends? And so on. That anxious attachment makes them a bit hypersensitive, I would say. So they have these emotional highs and the emotional lows. So the emotions run seesaw. They could get jealous easily if somebody else is taking the attention of their spouse, even though they have no evidence that the spouse is overly engaged with that next person, but they are going to be jealous without the evidence because they have this anxious attachment side. They are always on the lookout for the person leaving them. So they want the relationship, but the fear of losing the person is so strong. They have fear that holds the relationship together and not stability. So they always want to put you on your guard, that they don't feel comfortable with you talking to that person, they don't feel comfortable with you being away and so on. So that fear they transfer to you. So you almost feel uncomfortable talking to people, you feel uncomfortable talking to your own co-workers, feel uncomfortable getting a call from somebody of the opposite sex, because the person is going to manage the relationship from fear and not stability. Okay, I hope you all, if you all got that, let me know that you all get that. I don't want to lose you all. Winston James, good evening. Nice. Alright, put your comments in the chat, my people. Let me read them, or your questions. Feel free. I will try and take some time to deal with them. Alright, so we dealt with the secure attachment style, and we dealt with the we dealt with the anxious attachment style. We're going now to the avoidant attachment. This is the person who emotionally distance themselves. They're in a relationship, but you can't reach them emotionally, you can't reach them intimately. They seem as though they have formed a cocoon around the heart. They have formed a sort of hedge to protect them, the emotional manifestations. These people also have difficulty expressing their feelings, how they truly feel. They may show you their feelings, but they can't say how they feel. Or even in expressing it, they're not very good at expressing how they feel. So, because of that, they have this avoidant thing. They tend not to ask for help. They tend to be independent. They don't want you to have to tell them no, and they feel shame that you give them a no. They would be in trouble, and you would never know, for some of them. Yeah, they are not going to tell you. And they say, but why you didn't come to me? I didn't know you were going through all of that. Well, I didn't want to bother you. But somebody who's really connected and in love with an avoider will never feel happy that they are in a relationship with somebody and they're going through something and the person refused to share with them this thing that they are going through until you find out late. And sometimes it is even as far as sickness is concerned. There you are with the person going doctor, find out from doctor thing and so on, and they still didn't tell you. That's the avoidant attachment. This person also withdraws during conflict. So when you have a conflict with somebody, there must be a back and forth, a to and fro of the discussion in a conflict. Conflict is not a bad thing. Conflict for the Chinese has two words. It means danger, but it also means opportunity. In our English word, it mostly only means danger. But when you look at it from opportunity, now that we have had the danger because of the conflict, we have the opportunity now to solve it and improve going forward. So when some people get into conflict, they withdraw. They have nothing to say, so you can't solve the problem because they're no longer engaging you. So they would say that they want love, but intimacy feels unsafe. They can't risk giving their heart. They can't risk getting too close. They are afraid of you doing something that would hurt them for a long time. Yeah. I'll give you one more, and then we'll come off of that point and we move on to another point. Let me see what you all are saying. Ann Lynch, good way. Ann Lynch, nice. Yes, no, I ain't see Ann Lynch, boy. Nice having you on. Kenneth Hart said some people are emotionally detached. Yes, that's right. Rose, people experience even dating a person who has anxious attachment but flirting with others. Alright. So Rose Petal is saying people experience dating a person who has anxious attachment, and that person with anxious attachment is flirting with others. Well, because of the fact that the anxious attachment, remember now, if you understand, the anxious attachment has this fear of abandonment. So because of the fear of abandonment, they keep the options open. So even though they have that fear of abandonment, they would make sure that they have somebody else to go to fill that gap if anything takes place. And I suspect that the person who has anxious attachment would not wait for a crisis in the relationship. They would end it quickly so that you don't leave them, they would leave you. So, because if you leave them, you have abandoned them. So, that is the type of person I feel that once you all have a conflict or a quarrel, they're busy to say, okay, let it done. Me and you finish. They would admit, they would say it before you. And that creates things because that does not open and lend itself to conversation, negotiations, etc. Right? Thank you very much for that question, Rose, or that statement that you gave. Let me see if there's anybody else who's on the line. Alright. Good. Are you all getting some value from these people? I hope you are. Just let me know in the comments. Are you getting value? I would really love to know. Right? And while you're doing that, let me give you the final one, disorganized attachment. The disorganized attachment style. This is the what we call the push-pull dynamic, where the craving for intimacy, so they're pulling you in, but at the same time they fear intimacy. There are some people, as soon as they start finding that they're getting close to you, they AWOL you, they stop calling you, they stop hanging around you because they recognize I'm getting to fall for this person, I'm getting too close to this person, and they can't handle that. So that's the disorganized attachment style. So they have trauma in their background. Something may have happened in their history that make them fear the intimacy, while at the same time wanting it so much. This is why they call it disorganized. It's a push-pull. So it creates chaos in relationships, because one time the relationship going good and they tell themselves, yes, we have a nice relationship going on here with this person. And next time, for no reason, the person distance themselves and they push you off, and you have no idea, because as far as you're concerned, nothing really has happened. Well, that's how they are. So, let me ask you a next question, you my good people outside of it. Are you single because you haven't met the right one? For those of you who are single, Is it because you have not met the right one, or because your nervous system isn't regulated enough to accept love? Because some people could recognize that they met some people that they really wanted to get into relationship with them, but they got cold feet, and they technically, inadvertently, push the person away, and they do regret. Some people do regret it. So is it that you haven't met the right one, or is it that your nervous system has not been able to allow you to accept the right one? But how long are you going to keep up with that? That's why I want to recommend the services that we offer is to help people to correct the ship. If the ship is leaning, if it is tilted, we could help you correct the ship. We can't do it for you, but we could help you correct the ship. Alright, that's the telephone number there, 480-0080. You call that number, WhatsApp the number, and we could talk. Yeah, we could set an appointment, sit down, talk, help you, etc. It is better you do that than to be living in this anxious state all your life. Hey, wait, where the time gone? Me say, I now getting rolling. No man, we start late. It had to be. Alright, so let me not waste any more time. So we're talking about the people who not ready, not relationship ready. So we talk about the people with the attachment style issues that they might not be ready for relationship. We're talking about the people who might have the little psychological issues, the thinking process, the behavioral issues, the spiritual issues. You need to get those things right and aligned for it to work. But I want to be able to talk about the people with multiple partners. They may ready yet to settle down. It will be hard for somebody with multiple partners who have had a history of having sex with plenty of people for them to settle down in a stable relationship. I'm not saying it is impossible. It is difficult in my respectful view. So, if we deal with it from the standpoint of what they call neuroscience and bonding and so on, reduce when you get into a relationship, there's a novelty about it, there's a newness about it, there's an excitement, there's a bonding that takes place, that if you do that often enough, all of those chemicals that deposited in your body that gives you excitement and connectivity with the person and all of that no longer flows in the extent, because you've done this so often. You understand? If you do something often enough, you do not have the same reaction as the first time. If you smoke marijuana, you'll feel a certain high. I never smoke it, I just telling you what they tell me. But if you smoke it often enough, you wouldn't get the same high again. So if you're in a relationship and you get an emotional charge, an emotional high by a relationship, but you keep changing relationships, your ability to feel that novel excitement and intimacy is compromised. So that's one of the reasons why it makes you not necessarily relationship ready. You might have to take a hiatus, a sabbatical from relationships to be able to get back in the fray, because it almost comes like a routine. It becomes like I don't know, like going for a walk. There's nothing really spectacular about it. The other thing about when somebody gets into a relationship with so many people is that it is said that they create comparison bias. You can't help but compare one to the next. Treatment, how they treat you, their personalities, their sex. So you'll have this comparison bias because you've had it with so many people, but this person may not be giving you the way how those others did it. But this person is giving you the all. They're giving you how they know it, and how they're giving you intimacy as how they know it. But it's not like what you've had, what you've been accustomed to, the wide experience that you've had. So you'll have a comparison bias. Another reason is that it increases emotional fragmentation, because you can never give yourself emotionally, fully emotionally, to 12 people, 6 people at all. So you'll be fragmented emotionally, and you'll be broken in that area, and you'll be coming up short with somebody or with a couple of people. Well, alright? And also it lowers your pair bonding sensitivity, which means the bonding that 2 people feel, which we just spoke about, it lowers that. So you see, because oxytocin, which is the happy hormone, and dopamine, which pushes you to want to repeat or act or let you feel good, those 2 things, oxytocin and dopamine, they adapt with repetition. So which means the more partners a person has, the more desensitized they are, and oxytocin and dopamine does not give you the kind of impact that it has to make you feel happy. So somebody who has never had sex and have never been in a relationship, and they're in a relationship for the first time, getting married carries a certain amount of anticipation and excitement. The night of the marriage, the honeymoon night, also carries a certain thing. But somebody who has been having sex with multiple partners and so on, could you imagine what their honeymoon night is? It is just another night. You see? So the more partners a person has, the oxytocin and the dopamine is really compromising it. Alright? So intimacy requires exclusivity for it to deepen. Let me say that again. Intimacy requires exclusivity. You must quadrant off it for one person for you to have it real deep. Multiplicity produces emotional diffusion, that they call it. That emotionally you have to spread yourself, and that ain't go. So when you divide emotional energy across many, depth becomes impossible. So you'll be able to like a set of people, connect with a set of people, but how deep could you go in that relationship when you have all these people? Alright? I think I'll give you one more. Let me see if I could. Let me see what you all say. Zanifa says comparing persons with others. Yeah, that's what happens. So you don't have sex like that last one. Rose say me like $1 until meet one who is compatible. $1 is a single a single note. Yeah. Alright, so let's use the last couple of minutes judiciously. So we dealt with that multiple partner thing. Let's talk about the personality barriers to readiness. Because our personalities have a lot to do with how people connect with us, and a lot of people mess up their relationship because they have poor personalities, you know. So some people are not ready because of their attachment, but also some people are not ready because of their character. You understand? So chronic hostility. Oh heavens, you quarrel for everything. Do you have to talk so loud on this subject? Do we have to get away because of this? And there are some people that is all they know. They're neurotic, and they have high neuroticism, and they would call that. It's very high. Some people have a narcissistic trait. Everything is about them. Every talk, you bring up a talk, and they could bring that talk to face them, to deal with them and their issues. It is always coming back to them. Narcissistic. The number one person they care about is themselves. That's a personality flaw. Some people are impulsive. They don't think things through first before they open their mouth. They would make a decision on the spot without processing it. So they would walk out of a relationship 9 o'clock in the night just because they got vexed. Pack up, leave, go by their parents. And then when they think it through 2 days later, they want to come back in. And they say, but why did you leave? And so, well, you know, I was vexed, and so on and so on. No, that is impulsive. We will have rupture in every relationship. You can't walk out every time you get vexed. No, sir. No, mister, you can't do that. Just because she did something or said something that hurt you, you can't just threaten now to leave or pack up on the relationship. So, that's our personality flaw. Poor frustration tolerance is also another thing. You can't take frustration, but that is part of life. And you just take it on your job. Your boss just frustrate you and you just walk out so. And then we have the entitlement mindset. Me. I want. You don't make me happy. You don't spend enough time with me. Yeah? So, that entitlement mindset has to change. So, there's something that is called the Big Five model that deals with agreeableness and neuroticism and all of that. We don't have time to go into all of that. But if, suffice it to say, if conflict turns into a combatant situation instead of collaborating, you're not ready for a relationship if you have to always be in combat mode. Left the person and let it go their way. So, signs that you might be ready for a relationship. One is you're okay being alone. Once you're okay being alone, you might be ready for a relationship. 2, you don't need validation to feel worthy. You don't need somebody to always praise you. You know your worth. 3, you can say no, and you're okay saying no. You don't feel forced to say yes. You can apologize without the ego collapsing because you have to apologize. There are some people they can't apologize unless they feel bad about apologizing. They can apologize because they know they're wrong and they feel okay doing that. Number 5, I think it's 5. You can hear correction without getting angry. There are some people they can't handle correction. They attack you verbally, physically, and otherwise. They go into victim mode when you correct them. They're not accountable at all. As far as they're concerned, don't tell them anything that they don't like to hear about themselves. But if a person is okay to hear and be corrected, that person might be ready for a relationship. You don't entertain backups. Yeah, you don't hold somebody and say, listen, just for in case this relationship will work, I have one on the side. So if the right person came along, you have to ask yourself the question, would your habits protect them or damage them? If the right person came today, would your habits protect that person or would your habits damage that person? Think about it. Yeah, all again a couple extra minutes today. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to give you a few extra minutes there because I want to come back to this topic again. I want to be able to finish it. The two have to be in Christ first of all. Okay, Anne? Nice. Thank you. Alright, so here's what I want people to do. Take on as we for you to go home. Use the word ready. We're talking about relationship ready. R. Regulate your emotion. Regulate it. Don't let it get out of hand. Once you could regulate your emotion, you are emotionally intelligent. You can handle your stuff. You don't let your emotion rule you. 2. E. Have what we call an exclusive mindset. This is the person I'm with. You don't have to be with a million other people. There might be a reason why you need a million people, or 4, 5 people, 6 people, in order to keep you happy or to make you happy. You might be struggling with something. But the exclusive mindset can work. A. We spelling out already. Regulate, exclusive, accountable. Be okay to account to somebody else. Be okay explaining to somebody else. Some people say, why must I tell you where I'm going? Well, then you have an accountability issue. Because it is not to make you less than to be able to say to somebody where you're going, who you were with, and what's happening. It's an accountable thing. But also, accountability also speaks about I'm accountable for my behavior. So if I've done something wrong, I am prepared to say sorry. You are prepared to say sorry. Because you have recognized what you did was wrong. And that's good accountability. So R, regulate, E, exclusive, A, accountable, D, discipline. Put some boundaries on you. Discipline emotionally. Discipline yourself as far as how you will treat other people. And why? Yield things that are values and not your ego. So yield value into your relationship. Be value driven. So, are you preparing for marriage, sir? Are you practicing for divorce? Because you know you could practice for divorce, or you could prepare for marriage. And a lot of people doing the practice run for divorce, even if they're not in a relationship yet, or if they're not married. So which is it you're doing? Are you preparing for marriage? Are you practicing for divorce? Think about it. Alright? So, you know, there are some questions that would I like to ask. You know, do you actually want a relationship, or do you want relief from loneliness? Is one of the questions you could ask. Are you ready to commitment, or are you ready for attention? Because some people, it's not commitment they want attention. Do you want intimacy, or do you want distraction? Are you emotionally available or emotionally reactive? Are you seeking a partner or seeking someone to fix your life? If any of those questions bothered you, might be something for you to look at. Alright? So, we've gone past our time. You have been such a nice group. Thank you so much. Next week, Thursday, we'll have a rerun of a program. Not sure which program we'll have the rerun, but you'll excuse me that I'm unable to be on the program next week, Thursday. Hope you understand, but you know, there are matters of state to deal with. Alright, so I give you notice, so think about that. Okay, my people, God bless you all, and you take care now and make sure you get home safely. Mike at Nite saying thanks for being around and take care. Boom.